What's up, everyone? It's a knife saw here, and today I'm going to be doing a sharpening on my newest knife. This is the Spyderco Gayle Bradley 2, and I have used this knife a decent amount, and a lot of times Spydercos have burnt edges from the factory, and so this one I've noticed a couple chips and rolls, but I have used it a lot more, and it's not chipping as bad as something like my Sage 5 and S30V did. But anyway, I want to put my own edge on it. I plan to do a toothy edge, and I'm actually doing this sharpening a little bit different, like my camera angles at least. And what I'm doing is, I've noticed that in the past videos, the quality just isn't the best on them. And so my phone's actually facing the other way, because originally it was kind of in like selfie mode, I guess you could call it. And so now it's facing the other way. So if I'm trying to get something to focus and it's not working for me, I apologize for that. But yeah, I'm going to put my own edge on this knife, so let's dull it really quick. So yeah, it is dull. I'll do a paper test really quick and try and get this on camera. Yeah, it is significantly dull. So let's get sharpening. Alright, so it looks like I'm hitting over here on this belly and just missing that recurve just a little bit. So I'm not really hitting my bevel up towards the tip and at the base, so let me try and switch it up just a little bit. And I was looking at my plunge grind from the factory, and it looks to be slightly a little bit off, just kind of ground a little bit more on the logo side, I guess you could call it. So I'm just studying my edge really quick. Okay, so it looks like I'm hitting everywhere except a little bit at that base right about there, if you saw that. So I feel a very small burr, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and hit that base just a little bit more and still go through my normal sharpening strokes. Oh, and by the way, sorry about this, I'm using the Work Sharp guided sharpening system. So we have a burr all the way up and down the knife. So let me go to the other side now. And this other side is one thing that I'm really trying to figure out recently. Sorry if you just want to see the sharpening, but I'm going to talk a little bit. So what I have been doing is kind of like this, putting my middle finger up on the tip of that knife and then touching the stone with it to make myself hit that tip. But also what I do is use my thumb. And so I feel like when I use my middle finger, I'm better at hitting the tip, but when I use my thumb, I'm a little more controlled. So I'm still trying to figure it out. I'll probably stick with my middle finger and see how it does. So it looks like I am holding, I didn't look like I even hit that bevel at all. It's a very loud noise. Yep, still not hitting the bevel. I might have to drop this angle, see what happens. That sounded right. Still looked to be a little bit too steep for it. So I have a burr formed on the other side, but once again, I am missing that material right there. And this is the 320 grit coarse stone that I'm starting on. So we formed a burr on that side. Now time to switch to the other side. Just knock this burr off, see where my edge is at. So I'll give you guys a little bit of talk about how my knife has been over the course of these last couple of days using it. And it has held up great. I really am liking the ergos of this knife. And this blade shape is just almost perfect. One of my favorite blade shapes that I believe I've ever used. So I just kind of tried to knock that burr off a little bit here. Let's see where my edge is at. I hope I got that on camera, but yeah, right off that 320 grit stone, this M4 is doing pretty good here. Trying to get a better cut, but there we go. Very coarse edge, very toothy. So I'm not gonna stop on 320 because that's just a little bit too coarse for me. So I'm gonna move up to the 600 grit stone and then work from there. I'm probably gonna start on this side just so I can try and hit that face a little bit more. So I don't know if this is gonna show up, but right above my fingernail, there's still that Sharpie right there. And I've just directly got it in that spot, but I can't seem to get that Sharpie off. So I was actually putting my pointer finger right where that spot was on the other side to kind of give myself a guide on where to actually press down. That was just me wiping off the stone a bit. Now to the other side. So let's knock off this burr. Try and just refine that scratch pattern a bit here. Just make sure I'm holding the right angle and do as perfect of a stroke as I can. So that burr looks to be removed about as good as I can get it. Let me get a fresh sheet of paper for you guys. Here we go. That was a bad cut on my part, but I'm trying to get this on camera. So yeah, that is pretty sharp. So what I'm going to do for the stropping is I'm actually going to grab this ceramic rod here, knock off this burr as much as I can, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do from there. I'm using extremely light pressure when I do that, by the way. And that is a very, very keen edge. So when that cutting that I just showed, there's probably a little bit of a burr on it, and that's why some of them weren't as clean. So this strop here, you probably haven't seen it much on my channel, just because the truth is, I don't use it all that much. I usually just stick with this Knives Plus strop block. But this M4 steel, it's a, I don't really know why, but I've heard that it's good to use some diamond emulsion spray, I guess. I don't know. So I got this spray. It's 0.25 micron, which is way too thin than I need, but I just want to try it. You know, a lot of times when I sharpen, I just kind of experiment with things. So I'm going to sharpen on this. And I actually made this strop, so all right, so I think that we are good from there. I'm going to get out a clean sheet of phone book paper here. And let's check our edge. Yeah, that's nice and sharp. A little bit of an S cut there. Oh yeah. So that's a very sharp. Let me do a quick little edge test here. I have this paper that is very, very flimsy. It's like phone book paper, but half as thin, if that's even possible. And it is just very hard to cut with a knife that isn't very sharp. And this one can do it just fine. See, it's kind of like folding on me, so there we go. Yes, this edge is very sharp and I'm happy with it, but you know, I'm a perfectionist, so I might just strop it a little bit more. Alright, another sheet of paper. And it's the last cut test I'm going to do. And yeah, it is sharp. A little bit of a bad cut there, but that is definitely a good edge and I'm happy with it. So I kind of am tempted to bring it up to my Spyderco stone because then it'll get a little bit sharper. Not extremely, but I just kind of want to because, you know, I like my knives to just be a little bit sharper, but I feel like this M4 is going to perform very well with the 600 grit. Here I'm barely holding the knife, and with very little pressure, I can cut through it. There we go. All right, so that is going to do it for the video. Thank you to all of you who have stayed tuned to the end of this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, so sorry about this, but I didn't want to end the video right there. So what I did after that, I actually was still a little bit questionable about, like, so why was I not hitting the bevel right here? So I went back on my 600 grit stone, and I really just, like, pretty much forced it and just tried to do it exactly right there. I'd kind of switch up my angle and tilt back a little bit, tilt forward a little bit, just see what I was doing, and I still could not hit that bevel. So I ended up getting that Sharpie off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. But I also, after my 600 grit stone, I hit it up on my Knives Plus Strop Block Strop, and I feel like it gave me a little bit of a better result than my hitting it up on the strop that I made. So here's a little bit of a cut test. I'm at a weird camera angle, but there we go. So yeah, I still am trying to figure out what is wrong with that bevel. You know, I could just blame Spyderco having bad grinds from the factory and move on from there. But overall, I'm happy with this edge. It's sharp, it's toothy, it'll work great on this M4, and I'm really excited to use it. And yeah, this blade is probably one of my favorite blades out there, except that Spyderco, even though they didn't have the annoying little part at the choil there, they have a big old smile, and it's kind of a little bit of a recurve, which I think is what messed me up a little bit trying to hit that bevel right there. So that's gonna do for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to, oh wait, no, I already said the whole don't forget to like and subscribe stuff, so I'll just see you guys in the next video, I guess.